Hey everybody, happy Monday evening. Welcome to our Marlo Beauty Supply Instagram Live. My name is Jess Bartolomeo. I'm from Gilbert, Arizona. I am a Rusk Hair Care Educator, and I'm really excited to be here with them today to share some amazing fall formulations with you and tell you all of the great, exciting things that we have coming to the line. So super excited to get started. Again, like I said, I've been with Rusk Hair Care for about 9 years. I am one of their hair color specialists. And let's go ahead and get started here. If you've sat in my classes before, you're very familiar with a lot of my color specialties. So let's pull this out. So one of the #1 things that I'm really excited about with our Rusk Hair Care line is what we like to call our deep shine color. And what deep shine is deep is going to be our deep marine nutrient complex that's actually infused into our hair color line. That's going to be giving the hair deep conditioning service during the hair coloring process. So the client's hair is actually going to look more moisturized, shinier, and beautiful when it's finished. So we've made Natasha here a beautiful copper tone with some nice bright copper highlights. And what we've used with our base right here is a 7.44 in the Deep Shine Permanent Cream Hair Color line. And then we're gonna go through and add our highlights in here. So let's just piece these out. I know everybody's super excited about the fall colors. I have all of my clients coming in asking me for fall tones. So our 7.44 is going to be our permanent, like I said, our Italian cream hair color. Okay. So we're just gonna weave in some nice bright highlights right here. And I'm using this Marlo Beauty Supply foil, you guys. I'm so excited that it is pink. It is one of my all-time favorites. Makes me feel like a special bright unicorn when I'm coloring my client's hair. Okay, so we're starting with our lightener here at the bottom, and the lightener is going to be the Ultimate Blonde Lightening Cream, and we're using that in 40 Volume Developer. As you can see, her natural tone is super dark. We're probably in natural level 2 or 3 in there. So we want the 40 Volume and the Ultimate Blonde Lightener to really be able to lift her, to give her these nice bright highlights, which we're eventually going to go back through and put our Deep Shine Gloss over to give a nice, beautiful copper. She wanted something bright that's going to turn some heads. So now, one of the biggest things when we're putting highlights in, especially with lightener, is that we want to make sure that we're not folding this over and over again, because when we fold it, we're going to put creases in and we're going to move all of that product off the hair. So to make sure that we're having nice, even pigment all the way through, we're just going to lay a foil right over the top of that. Now, if you feel like they're going to slip a little bit, feel free to kind of turn one of the corners in, but you want to just kind of leave that lay so that oxygen can actually get in there and help that hair to process. Okay, so we'll come back in. We're going to do another section. We really want these to stand out, and that's one of the things when you're working on naturally textured hair with as much curl as she has. If you're doing really small highlights and very few of them, they're going to get lost. So you want to make sure that you have enough that it's actually going to show once that texture is actually back in the hair when it's dry. So again, we're coming in with nice big sectioning. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And you can see right through here, this was our 7.44. So she's already been based. Everything in between, we're going to go ahead and pull through with that same 7.44 copper, which is a pure tone in the Deep Shine Permanent Cream Hair Color. So this is also going to be a highlight. So we're just going to push that nice and tight against the scalp and come right back up again with our Ultimate Blonding Cream Lightener and 40 Volume Developer. And just make sure you've got nice, even saturation through here. When you get up towards the base, since we've already went ahead and done her base and we want to make sure we have a seamless blend, I'm using the side of my brush to just feather in, so that when these are done processing, you're not going to have any hard lines of demarcation where those highlights have begun.
So Jess, what's your suggestion whenever you're doing a 7.44 copper with a bright result, not to get a hot regrowth?
That is actually a great question, specifically because when we based her, we wanted to make sure that she didn't have the same problem with a hot new growth. So we're gonna use the 7.44 copper mixed equal parts with the 7.11 double ash. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna eliminate some of that red tone that's coming through there. So it really gives you that nice pure copper tone. So you can see, especially right up through here, it didn't lose any of the pigment by adding that 7.11. It just eliminated getting a nice hot root. Okay, so we're gonna leave this little section in between here. This is gonna be, again, a pull through of our 7.44. These two first highlights were the Ultimate Blonding Cream and 40 Volume Developer. We're gonna continue our way up the hair. Okay, I'm gonna take a nice little slice here. And again, making sure that we have nice big weaves in there so that we're not actually losing the highlight. I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3. Very wide slicing, okay? Now this one is one of my favorite fall formulations, and this is our 9.34 copper gold and our 8.8 chocolate. 9.34 copper gold and our 8.8 chocolate with 40 volume developer. Okay, and again, just make sure you're kind of feathering up into that natural growth. Evenly saturated all the way through the ends. And this is gonna give you a beautiful, warm highlight. But you're gonna have the dimension between that and the Ultimate Blonde as well. Again, just laying the foil right over the top. Okay, and then moving up again into the next section. And we're doing 2 foils back to back of each of these on our way up. Okay, coming in again with big wide sections, 1, 2, 3. I don't want to take away a lot of the space from the hairline, and since these are baby hairs, I'm just going to kind of push these forward out of the way. Bring my foil in nice and tight. Again, my 9.34 copper gold and my 8.8 chocolate with 40 volume developer. I'm sure everybody is getting requests for these beautiful caramel apple cider pigments that are huge right now for fall. I gotta tell you, I've been inspired just since I've been here, which we're in Detroit, Michigan, by the way. I'm an Arizona girl, so this weather is new to me, but I gotta tell you, when we were driving down the street, all of those beautiful fall trees, I don't get that in Phoenix. So on my way in, I was like, we definitely gotta use some beautiful coppers and warm tones.
So we have a question from Mrs. Sledge, 90.
Okay.
And she wants to know, are you going to process this under heat?
No, we are not. That is a great question. None of our products are actually made to be used under heat. And the reason for that being is that when you put something that is specifically developed a certain way under heat, it's gonna break it down. So to make sure that we have specific results that we know we can rely on, we're gonna go ahead and process at room temperature. So again, I left another section in between here, okay, and I'm coming in still nice and wide, leaving some of those baby hairs forward. 1, 2, 3. And since we've already used our caramel tone in between, we're going back to our blonde highlight. Okay. Nice and saturated. One of my pro tips, you guys, when I'm doing a highlight, especially on textured hair where you're afraid if the foil is actually gonna slip, is that if you start with the foil nice and tight and you push about midway down, you can fully saturate your ends first. Okay, get nice coverage. And then get just a little more on the tip of my brush, and I'm gonna come back up, and this is where I'm gonna start my feathering. And then that way it eliminates any kind of slipping from that foil. Again, making sure that I'm not folding, and I'm just gonna lay this right over the top, okay? And we're doing 2 back-to-backs of each section. One more here.
So of course, somebody's going to ask about your hair, right?
Oh,
so they love your hair, and how did you get that?
Thank you so much. How did I get my blonde, I'm assuming? Because that is always my #1 question from all of my clients, because they all want to be white all the time. I am naturally actually blonde. I'm about a level 8, and I have about 40% gray. So I use the Ultimate Blonding Cream and 20 Volume Developer on my natural growth when it comes in. And then I used our Deep Shine Directs. So that's going to be all of the direct, bright rainbow pigments that are so popular right now. And what's nice about those is you can use those directly out of the tube. There is no mixing necessary. They are semi-permanent color. So semi-permanent means it's going to be a stain on the outside of the hair. So that's another thing you want to really make sure. If you're doing a nice bright rainbow color, you don't want to blow the hair cuticle out when you're lifting, because it has to be on pre-lifted hair, because then it's not going to hold, because it's got to stay in a nice closed cuticle. But they're fantastic. They last about 30 washes. I've had my hair like this for like, I don't know, probably about 15 years now. So I just keep laying it over the top of it, almost like wallpaper, and it just stays longer and longer. Seriously,
Trisha would like to know the mixing ratios for the lightener and the permanent color.
So the mixing ratios on our lightener is going to be 1 part lightener to 2 parts of your developer. Now you can use any of the developers with the lightener. It can be 10, 20, 30, or 40. We just don't ever recommend putting 30 or 40 on scalp. So if you're going to use a 30 or 40, you need to make sure that it's in foils, just like these are. And for the Deep Shine Permanent Cream Hair Color, which was what was used on our base and in our highlight, the caramel tone is going to be 1 part color to 1.5 parts developer, which is fantastic because it's at such a great economical price point that you're going to get so much more out of it, especially considering the fact that we have a 3.4 ounce tube. Most are going to come in a 2 ounce tube. So you can just imagine having a 3.4 ounce tube and you're mixing 1 to 1.5, right? Or the 3.4 ounce tube for our lightener as well, and that's mixed 1 to 2. Now, standard processing time on this is going to be about 35 minutes. I want to make sure these ends are fully saturated. You know, curly hair is naturally a little bit more dry, and it's just drinking this up.
So Jess, let's say that the lightener is not where you want it in 35 minutes. Is the color going to get darker or keep processing?
That's a great question too. Our color is not progressive, which means that if your highlights are not where you need them to be and they need a little bit of extra time, you do not have to worry about making sure that the hair color is rinsed out. Once it gets where it's going to stop, and it's going to be beautiful even if you leave it on an extra 15 minutes or so. And that goes for the color, all of our color lines, including our Ruskin 10 as well, which is our new 10-minute cream hair color. Super excited to tell you about that one. I have a little bit of a secret to share with you tonight that you'll get to see on a couple of our models that will be coming up soon. Okay, so this again is the 9.34 copper gold, mixed equal parts with 8.8 chocolate and 40 volume developer. And I've just been alternating between this and the Ultimate Blonde Lightening Cream with 40 volume as well. Now everything that's been left out in between is also going to be pulled through with the 7.44 copper. And we only put the 7.11 in the base because the whole purpose of that is to make sure that she doesn't have a hot root. So everything that's pulled through is just the 7.44 copper on its own. Now, as we get up to this top section here, when she came in, one of the things that she requested was that she wants to have kind of it's almost like a side part money piece, if you will. So we're going to go ahead and do a triangle right through here on just this one side to give her that nice bright color. So I'm going to go ahead and turn just a smidge there. So we're going to part this out. Smaller in the front, wider at the bottom.
So Jess, when you're doing that triangle, why would you want to put the smaller in the front and wider at the bottom? Or if you inverted that and did wider at the top and smaller at the bottom, can you give me the differences between those two techniques?
Absolutely. So being smaller in the front and wider at the bottom, when this lays over the top, she's going to have this nice bright money piece in the front, but it's not going to be so harsh against her skin tone right in the front because we're allowing this to lay over the top of it. So she'll still have all of this, and it'll give you a nice blend, and we'll still be able to play off of this nice 7.44 copper. This money piece won't be the first thing that they see. However, if you would like to invert it and you want it to be that prominent in the front, then you would do wider here and smaller at the bottom. And so then you're gonna have the widest part at the top is gonna allow this to lay over the hair that is behind it.
So what type of maintenance will she be required to do to keep this up? So as far as color protecting shampoos, and then maybe any pigmented conditioners.
So we have a couple of different options. We have the Rusk Sensories line, which is really great. We have the color protecting shampoo and conditioner in that one, as well as my ultimate favorite is going to be in the Pure Mix line, and that is the pomegranate color protecting shampoo and conditioner. I personally have some vibrant redheads that actually use the directs that use the pomegranate color protecting shampoo and conditioner, that I really don't have to pull them through every time I do their hair. So it's free of sulfates, parabens, glutens, silicones, artificial colors. It's just really gonna be protecting for that color and super moisturizing for the hair as well. And then as far as maintenance on colored conditioners, we have our Deep Shine Boost conditioners as well. So she could always use the Deep Shine Red Boost conditioner if she wanted to add some copper back into there. And that kind of eliminates having to come in every 2 or 3 weeks like they originally did when they used to have such a nice vibrant tone. It allows them to kind of maintain that at home until they're ready to come back in and get their retouch done as well. So it's a fantastic thing to retail to your clients. It takes a little bit of the work out for you and allows that color to still be looking gorgeous and vibrant and them to be sending multiple clients back into you. So we're just finishing up this money piece right here in the front. Now, what is super cool about this color is that the other half of her head is already finished, so you guys will actually get to see the finished product. And I'm really excited about it. Like I said, I had full fall inspiration on this. And you can see right up here through the money piece even, I'm still feathering at the top because I don't want that hard line of demarcation, especially as her new growth comes in. We already know that her natural is super dark. So if we have dark coming in against this red and then a nice huge blonde piece right in the front, it's gonna be kind of a dramatic grow in. So adding this feathering technique in is gonna soften that growth and allow it to blend softly as it comes back through. This is my last little piece here.
Seriously, Tricia says the sunflower volume is the best.
I love the sunflower. So our Rusk Pure Mix line has multiple choices just based off of what your hair's needs are. We have the activated charcoal, which is going to be more of a purifying shampoo and conditioner. There's also a mask in that one. That's something that I would recommend for somebody maybe that has a little bit more of an oily scalp or is dealing with product buildup. And then the sunflower that Tricia was actually referencing is our volumizing line. So that's great if you're trying to get a little bit more lift and volume out of kind of fine, maybe limp hair, but definitely a great option. So that is there's a shampoo, a conditioner, and a volumizing mist in the sunflower. And then we have the native fig. The native fig is for natural to fine hair, and that one is got a shampoo, a conditioner, and a leave-in treatment, which the leave-in treatment is one of my favorites to use when I'm actually doing hair color on somebody maybe that has more compromised hair or has had previous highlights and you want to equalize the porosity in it without adding any damage. Okay, So I'm just gonna add one more highlight right up top here, just so it can kind of lay under that and complement our money piece. Doing that 1, 2, 3 again, and we'll just slide this right up into the base. Evenly saturate these ends. So the other part of the deep shine of our permanent cream hair color line, and it's not just the permanent cream hair color line, it's our entire color line, is that we have what's called micropigment technology, where our pigments have been refined to be so small that they're like dust. So you're actually able to get way more color molecules into the cuticle of the hair. So the color is gonna last longer and it's gonna look that much better for your clients. And longevity is everything, because if your clients are coming back to you at the 6 to 8 week period and on their way in, they stop at the gas station and somebody comments on how gorgeous their hair is, even though they're on their way to see you, there's nothing better than that. Makes your job easier, right? Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and leave this. This is all gonna be based. Okay, so let's go ahead and show you her after. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this through after, but I'll be able to show you guys her finished look here. So let's go ahead and pull this clip out on the side. I'm so excited about how her color turned out. It's just gorgeous. Complements her skin, complements her eyes. Okay, we can go ahead and turn. And you can just see all of that gorgeous natural texture. We've also added a few curls in here just to kind of complement it and give it more of a ready to go out on the town type of style. But you can see, so what we've done now, once this is all processed, we went ahead and washed her out, and then we applied the Deep Shine Gloss, which is our demi-permanent line. And the reason that we're using the demi-permanent is because she's already been processed with lightener and color. So we wanna make sure that we're keeping that cuticle intact and keeping the integrity of the hair intact. So we use the Deep Shine Gloss in a 5C copper and a 934 CG. 9 CG. So equal parts on those. And we let that process for about 30 minutes and then rinsed it. So you get this nice, beautiful, bright copper tone, as well as this, you can see the 7.4. And I'm gonna turn you for a second. So since they've seen that side, this was her natural. You see how dark that is? So the definition and the vibrancy that you get off of just a one process is just incredible. And the hair looks shiny and healthy and vibrant and is just ready for the next step.
They want to know if the hair was previously colored.
Oh, great question. So when she came in, the majority of her hair is natural. But when you get down here to the bottom, she had a little bit of previous color here, and it's hard to see. So this is where being a professional really comes into play, is you gotta use your professional eye. So knowing that we could see just a little bit in her ends down here, we went ahead and test stranded with a couple of different options to see what our best bet would be and how the hair would hold up to the options that we had. So we were able to actually achieve this beautiful, even hair color all the way through the ends. You can see that, right? All the way through the ends without any of that previous color being an issue.
They're amazed that was all done in one process.
Right? Isn't it incredible? And that's the thing, guys, like you're the professional and you have the knowledge behind you, but when you have the products to empower your knowledge, it's just that much better. So, and that's one of the things that Rusk likes to push forward, is we're always at the top of the innovation and top of the education to really help you as a stylist. And we're all stylists behind the chair too, so we know what you face on an everyday, and we know what we need to accomplish certain things. So that's one of the things that drives me as an educator, is to be able to share all of that with you. It's all about stylists supporting stylists, especially with the way that the world has turned right now. So. All right, any other questions about Natasha at all? And her 7.44 copper base, okay, and her base we added 7.11 double ash to make sure she didn't end up with a hot root. And then the pull through was just 7.44 on its own. And then we alternated highlights with the Ultimate Blonde Cream Lightener and 40 Volume Developer, as well as our 9.34 Copper Gold and our 8.8 Chocolate and 40 Volume Developer. And I'm going to pull this foil up out of your face for a second just so they can see how gorgeous this looks with your skin tone in your eyes. She's ready for fall, guys. What do you think? I think so. All right. Perfect. So we're going to go ahead and bring our next model on, and I can so excited to share with you my top secrets for the afternoon. Our Ruskin 10, which I'm sure a lot of you that have used it are familiar with, is our permanent cream hair color line that takes only 10 minutes processing. Only 10 minutes, that's it. So with the way that the world has turned and Rusk wanting to be at the beginning of innovation, we really wanted to make sure that you had the support as stylists, because not being able to double book, right? The way with the pandemic and everything that's happened, we've not been able to double book, so we're able to use 10-minute processing time to get more clients in our chair. So you're able to get the same amount of clients in a much shorter time frame. So you've got happier clients, more clients, and you're able to just really have this beautiful, rich hair color. Because again, we have our deep shine therapy. So our marine nutrients are infused in it, and we have our Terra Marine complex. So it's really, really putting the moisture back into the hair. And like I said, only 10-minute processing, and you can get 100% great coverage. So within our 10-minute line, we have 15 shades. And I wanted to, before we unveil, I wanted to show you that we have 7 brand new shades that will be launching soon. 7 brand new shades that will be launching soon. Okay, so excited that we actually had them for this, for our live. So I'm able to show you a couple of the results. So excited that this line is expanding, because really our number one goal for you as a stylist is for you to have an unlimited palette of creativity. Okay. Okay. So when she came in today, she was a natural level 7. Natural level 7. So you can see she had some natural growth right up here at the top. Some previous balayage and highlights through her ends, mid-shaft and ends. And we really just wanted to kind of even everything out and brighten her up, but still give her kind of a fall tone. So even your blondes can have some fun in the fall, right? So using our fall tones and our brand new Ruskin 10, which is coming soon, we used our 10S as our base. So you can see we went ahead and based her first because it only takes 10 minutes, right? So we went ahead and based it so that we could even out the rest of her solid hair color through here. 10 minutes, we washed and dried her, and then went back through with our Ultimate Blonde Cream Lightener, okay, and did a heavy highlight. Again, still feathering up at the top, okay? And you can see where that 10 sand is. It's just giving her that nice, warm fall blonde. So she's still blonde and vibrant, but she's got some of these fall tones incorporated. Once that was finished, we went ahead and dried her and came back in and did a star-shaped paneling section, okay? Just kind of zigzagging, especially along the halo line, because I wanted to give her some fun little pink in her bangs, because pink is my favorite. So I can't have a live without a little bit of pink. But to put these colors back in, after we went ahead and highlighted her, we used our Deep Shine Demi Gloss. So again, we used our Demi Permanent because she was already previously colored, and we wanted to only deposit. So this right here, this beautiful blush color was made with our 9A and our 5M. You can see the shine just bouncing off of that hair, right? So following along the star pattern line, we also did a 9P and a 7P mixed together just to tone out a little bit of that warmth to give that pink something to bounce off of. So you can see how these just kind of peek through all the way around her hair. So I'm going to go ahead and turn her and you can see through the back. Okay, so this is our 10 sand in our 10-minute hair color line, and it lifted her from a 7 to a 10 in 10 minutes. 10 minutes. And is this beautiful, beautiful warm blonde, okay?
Mrs. Sledge wants to know, could you foil over that 10 sand so you could do it all in one process?
You absolutely can. You absolutely can. It is going to The lightener is going to cut through the 10-minute color, and because our color is not progressive, you can leave that lightener on as long as you possibly need for those highlights to finish processing. So the only reason that I did it the way that I did was just so that I had more control, because when you're working on such a corrective process, control is everything. So it really comes back down to you as a professional to decide what your route is going to be. There's multiple ways to get there, it's just what is the most efficient. But yes, you can absolutely highlight through that. Okay.
So Kelly Girl wants to know how she could become a Rusk Concept Salon.
Oh, that's fantastic. So to become a Rusk Concept Salon, you can, everything that we've used you can get from Marlo Beauty Supply, which is marlobeauty.com. So to become a Rusk Concept Salon, I would log on to the website and all the information that you need is going to be available to you. Now the website is for professionals only, so all of you that are tuning in just for the gorgeous hair color, I'm sorry, but you are going to find a Rusk professional in your area to achieve these gorgeous, beautiful fall tones.
Does the Ruskin 10 work for gray coverage?
So our Ruskin 10 absolutely works for gray coverage. And that comes back to a perfect point of our brand new shades that are coming in. Now, any of these will give you full coverage in only 10 minutes, but we also have our 5NN and our 7NN coming in for those stubborn grays that just don't like to cover. So that's going to give you extra coverage on those. But yes, absolutely. Now, if you've used Rusk color before and you're finding that you're having a hard time lining those pigments up, the Ruskin 10 is going to be a little bit more translucent. So your best bet is going to be to drop your level 1. So if you're normally using a 6 in our permanent cream hair color line and you want to try the Ruskin 10, drop it down to a 5. If you have resistant gray hair, same thing. You can drop it down 1 level, or you can even try mixing 1-to-1. So our standard mixing ratio on the Ruskin 10 is going to be 1 part color to 2 parts dedicated 20 volume developer. Okay.
So they want to know how you charge for express services. Is there a surcharge? Do you upcharge?
This comes back to the professional. So it just depends on what your service list looks like. But again, it's a convenience. So it's 10 minutes not only for you, but for your clients. And a lot of people don't want to spend a lot of time in places right now. Everybody wants instant gratification. So you can definitely upcharge for a 10-minute hair color. The other thing that I love to talk about too with people is that if you have those clients that haven't tried color yet because they just don't want to spend the time, or you have a haircut client that comes in that has a little bit of gray, but she normally does it at home and she's going somewhere, it's going to take you 10 minutes. You know, say, oh, just give me 10 minutes and I can have you looking absolutely phenomenal before you leave. So you can absolutely upcharge for those. But again, like I said, it comes back down to you as a professional and what kind of services that you'd like to provide.
They want to know if Rusk has a 5-volume developer.
So we actually have a no-lift balancing lotion, and that one is going to be the closest thing that you can get to for a 5-volume lift, the no-lift balancing lotion. And that's going to give you full maximum deposit without breaking into any of those natural underlying pigments that the hair might have. Okay, so speaking of our Ruskin 10 and our beautiful blonde with some blush halos, I'm really excited to talk about our next model as well, because talking about gray coverage, this is the perfect time to tie into that. We had a model, Andrea, come in this morning, and she has a little bit of gray as well as some old summer highlights. And again, we're in Detroit, we have the leaves changing, it's beautiful here. Why not have some gorgeous fall tones, right? So again, let me show you one more time right here on the iPad. These are our brand new 7 shades that are coming out to our Ruskin 10-minute cream hair color. Okay, so let's see here. You can see this was her gray when she came in today. Okay, there's probably about 30, I'd say maybe 40% gray in there. Now let me show you, oops, wrong way, there we go. And these were her summer highlights, okay? So we've got gray natural growth, and we have some previous color with some summer highlights. So we went ahead and used our 5NN, the new 5NN in the Ruskin 10, with our 20 volume developer, and did a retouch on her, and you can see the coverage on that in only 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Okay? Isn't that gorgeous? Look at the shine off that. I just love the way that it shines in the light, especially. So once that had been applied, we went ahead and pulled through some of our deep shine gloss again because she was previously colored, and we wanted to add some pigment back in, but we didn't want to lose the definition of the highlights. We just wanted to accent for the fall. So we used our 6S, which is our sand, mixed equal parts with our BN, our beige natural. 6 sand and beige natural, and we just went ahead and covered everything else, pulled it all the way through her ends. And you can see how she still has the definition of where those highlights were. Okay, beautiful depth where we covered all of that gray, and just gorgeous warm highlights all through the hair. So the Deep Shine Demi Gloss, again, you guys, is one of my favorites when it comes to only needing to add low lights, really, only needing to deposit into the hair. We don't need any lift whatsoever, as well as previously colored hair, because a Demi Gloss is not going to have any ammonia in it whatsoever. So there's no ammonia, and there's a very low peroxide to it. So we're using our no lift balancing lotion or our activator, our gloss activator. And what that's doing is just putting the pigment into the hair without actually having to re-lift the cuticle, because every time you're lifting the cuticle, if we were to pull that 5NN all the way through, would it cover? Probably. Is it the best option? Probably not, because every time you're lifting with ammonia and peroxide, that cuticle is lifting further and further and is not going to shut back down all of the way. So to be able to use our permanent hair color on the natural growth, because that is going to be what covers the gray, and pull through with a demi to just really enhance and richen that color, is keeping the hair in the best possible shape and giving it that gorgeous, beautiful shine. Happy, healthy hair is always the goal. So.
Roshan wanted to know if there were any purples in the Ruskin 10.
Oh. Okay, so we don't have a purple, but we have a 5M. Oops, try and make this where you can see it. A 5M, which is mahogany. And one of my tricks is I like to take just a little bit of the 1N and mix with it, and it becomes more of a violet shade. So the 5M and the 1N becomes a violet shade. But we don't have a violet yet. Stay tuned, because you never know what we're coming out with next.
Jules wants to know, when would you use the activating lotion compared to the zero lift balancing lotion, and what the difference in the result would be?
Okay, so the zero lift balancing lotion is going to have no lift whatsoever. Like we said, it's going to be closest thing to a 5 volume developer. So that is for deposit only. Now, the activator gloss is a 9 volume developer. So if you don't have the activator gloss and you still want the same result that you're getting with the gloss activator, you can use our 10 volume developer as well. Now what that's gonna do, the 10 volume or the gloss activator, is gonna give you a slight shift. So it's gonna lift just enough to be able to really penetrate. So if you have somebody maybe that wants a little bit of gray coverage, some blending, you're not gonna get full coverage, but maybe want some gray blending, or you wanna do a little bit of a base shift, you can definitely use either the 10 volume or the gloss activator. If you wanna deposit only, that's where we would use the zero lift balancing lotion.
So how do I follow you, Jess, on Instagram?
On Instagram, my handle is hairstar86, hairstar86. No spaces, no dashes, just straight hairstar86. Now, like I said, I've been with Rusk for about 9 years, and I absolutely love, that's the whole reason I became an educator, was that the color speaks for itself. So if you haven't ever tried it and you're watching out of curiosity, I highly recommend that you hop on marlobeauty.com and order a couple of things that we've used tonight, just so you can kind of let it prove itself to you.
Does Rusk offer education if you bring the color line into the salon?
We absolutely do, and that is one of my jobs. And that's why I'm here, is I absolutely love to share education with you. So if you bring the color line in, you are opened up to a variety of classes that we offer, and we're actually working on our curriculum right now to offer even more than we already do. But when you bring it in to begin with, if you're a Rusk starter salon, having one of the intro classes will give you a breakdown on each of our lines and what they are used for and how they can benefit you as a stylist as well. So, I want to thank all of our models today for letting me have my creative freedom and being open to all of the fall tones that Detroit has brought to my mind. And I thank you guys so much for tuning in. This has been phenomenal. And I just want to say that it really takes a village for all of this to come together. So I want to thank everybody from Marlo Beauty Supply for all of their help and efforts today, as well as our Rusk team, Thomas and Angelina here with me, for helping with all of the color and all of the wonderful models for spending their days with us as well. Like I said, you guys, Marlo Beauty Supply is marlobeauty.com. They are website only. They ship straight to you, okay? But it is for professionals only. So like I said, if you're here just to see the fall tones, definitely reach out and find a Rusk stylist in your area. And thanks again so much for tuning in, and I really hope that I've given you even just a little tidbit that you can take back behind the chair with you. Thanks so much.